24 minutes, starting now.
Okay, I'd like to talk about the Lafayette theater shooting. Now, I'd first like to talk about the tactical aspect of the shooting, and then I'd like to get into the legality about it. Now, this was a weapons-free zone, which means guns, knives, tasers, stun guns, batons, pepper spray, all weapons were banned. And once again, how did that work out? Now, I almost never go to the movie theater, and I'll probably go less now, but I usually like to wait for years ago, I waited for the rental to come out on video from the video rental place, and nowadays I wait for it to come on demand on the cable box. I just don't like movie theaters. They cost too much money sometimes. I walk in, I don't get the concessions or the sort of the bullshit for $30, $40 a piece. If I have to go to the movie theater, I usually go in the afternoon. Sometimes on a weekday, depending on what my work schedule is. If I'm off from work on a weekday, I go once every 4 or 5 years to the movie theater. I usually sit in the back, because when you sit in the back, you get to see the entire picture in your eye vision, in your lamp sight, without turning, twisting, bending. If you sit up front, you gotta go up, and so I just sit in the back. Also, because when the movie's over, I want to get the fuck out. I just want to go home. Now, movie theaters have between 4 and 6 exits, usually 2 in the front, 2 in the back. The reason being is because depending on how crowded the theater is, at the end of the movie, people want to go home. They don't want to spend 10 hours in line getting out of the theater. So having multiple exits allows people to just pour out. Also, God forbid, in case of an emergency, 4 exits is faster than 2 exits when your life is in danger. For whatever reason, fire, shooting, whatever reason. Now, the first theater in Colorado, the suspect came in through the front. I think it was on the left-hand side if you're facing the screen. But whatever, he came in the front, opened fire with a rifle. The second shooter last week, came in from the back, opened fire with a handgun. And he had a high point which has 10-round magazines anyway, the .40 caliber. Yeah, so there's like 2 completely different things. One guy's young, one guy's old. One guy has a nicer rifle, one guy has a shittier handgun. One guy commits suicide, one guy's captured alive. So it's sort of a opposites thing. Now, when the first theater shooting happened in Colorado, the next day I had to go to the outdoor range at Ardsley to renew my armed guard license. Now this range, you have to stand inside the booth, ask for a ceasefire, all guns are holstered, all people step out of the booth, you put the target in the stationary stall, come back, yell all clear, everyone commences firing. The target is over 50 feet away in a stationary position. It doesn't come back and forth. You're there. Okay? And I'm shooting at this paper target from at least 50 feet away. This is the day after the Colorado shooting. And I'm thinking to myself, if this was a 360-degree target, and it was moving, and it was shooting back at me, would I be able to put my bullet in him? Now, if you have a theater with 500 people in it, you could have a 500-seat theater that's packed. You could have a 500-seat theater with 6 guys in it, depending on the time, day, movie, how long the movie's been out, etc. Now, is everyone going to duck down so I can fire my bullet? No. When you have Pandemonium, and one example of this is the theater when Abraham Lincoln was shot. You had 1,500 people in the seats. And they were friggin' going ape shit. Punching, kicking, throwing the chairs around. Okay? So one man shoots one man and the theater goes ape shit. Imagine when one man shoots 10 men, or 20, or 30, or 50. okay, they're gonna be going bonkers, flipping this, jumping that, and can my bullet go between 50 and 100 feet away and hit the suspect without hitting any of the innocent people? No. Not gonna happen. I'm a Navy SEAL, I'm a Green Beret, I don't give a fuck who you are. Not gonna happen. The only logical thing to do, now the other theater, let's look at the other theater. I usually sit in the back. And he comes through the back. If he shoots me in the head, I'm dead. I can't fight back. But if he came in the back, and I'm in the back, and I'm sitting here in the theater seat, and he's a little bit over that way, shooting that way, I might be able to get up and advance on him and get him at close range. But I'm going to have a hard time doing that because there's still going to be people in my way. Someone's going to get hit. Remember the bodyguard? Yeah, the bodyguard is Kevin Costner is protecting a woman who looks, sounds, and sings the exact same music as Whitney Houston for some reason. And his backstory is he's a retired Secret Service agent who was at his mother's funeral the day Reagan was shot. And he said something profound. Yes, Kevin Costner said something profound. No matter how incompetent the assassin, someone always gets hurt. And you could look at assassinations, you could look at mass shootings, you could look at whatever the fuck you want to look at. Someone's always going to get hit. Doesn't matter if it's the right guy, the wrong guy, this guy, that guy, her, him, me. Someone's always going to get hurt. So no matter what way you slice it, someone's going down. So the only way that a concealed carry holder can do any good is if he or she is damn near point blank range to the gunman. And the gunman is looking away at another target. Bang, 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 bang. Okay, and the concealed carry holder gets him this way or that way or from behind or some shit. Yes. And just so we're on the same page, if you have a mass shooter or an assassin, back shooting is okay. Okay, if someone is actively engaging in violent behavior, okay, they're just shooting innocent people indiscriminately, it is okay to shoot in the back from a legal standpoint. Yeah, shooting guys in the back running away, I've talked about that 1,000 times, but if you have a guy that's involved in a mass shooting, don't think that you gotta go in front of the guy for legal purposes. No. If he's just killing innocent people like crazy, there is no problem with shooting him in the back. At all. He's got the gun in his hand. Even if he's reloading an empty gun, he's shooting innocent people that are screaming bloody murder. Shoot him in the back. Another aspect you gotta worry about is, what if someone thinks that I'm an accessory shooter and they see me pull my gun and they tackle me? That's also a priority you gotta figure out. Okay? I think the reason why they're targeting movie theaters is because even if a concealed carry holder is there, it's less likely they'll be fighting back because they might not be able to get to him, like I just explained in detail. Okay? Like if you shoot up a library and there's 10 people in the library and we're in a vast open room, a concealed carry holder, an off-duty cop, might have a better vantage point to go around and to sneak this way or turn that way or to spring up this way or whatever. But if you have a theater with 500 people just packed in like sardines and they're all staring in one direction at once, especially if it's an action scene, they might not hear the gunshot. Okay, and by the time they realize what's going on, I mean, it's fucking crazy. Now, from the legal standpoint, this individual had domestic violence conviction, restraining order. His wife took all his guns away after the restraining order. He was in a mental institution. He was convicted of arson. Arson is a violent crime and it's always a felony. I've never seen arson a misdemeanor. Now, obviously, if you're setting a barbecue pit or a bonfire or a campfire, that's a different story. But unless you are setting fire to a barbecue pit, a campfire, or a bonfire at a party, you're going to get charged with a felony. Because people that commit arson either don't care if anyone gets hurt, or they want someone to get hurt. So this guy applied for a concealed carry license in his home state of Alabama. He moved to Louisiana a week before the shooting, I think. And Alabama turned him down. Now, I don't give a fuck what state you're in. Shall issue this, open carry, none of that shit, okay? If the licensing officer finds out through the background check that you are a prohibited person, or if there is any indication in the background check that you are dangerous, multiple DUI, or 3 DUIs is a felony, you might have 2 DUIs, and you might have been going 95 miles an hour during the DUIs, you're getting turned down. Okay? If the licensing officer has reason to believe that you are a threat to society, they are obligated to turn you down. Federal law mandates they turn you down regardless of state law. That bullshit about me getting a carry license is if you pass the background. If you fail the background, no carry license for you. Now, Alabama did turn him down on the grounds of his criminal record, which they required to do by federal law. But he went to a pawn shop and bought the gun, and he allegedly lied on the mental illness thing. Now, mental illness could be veterans. I have a friend who's a veteran from high school. He survived the USS Cole. His best friend committed suicide. He watched a man beheaded in front of him. Okay, he has PTSD to the nth degree. He is mentally ill. Rape victims are mentally ill. Sexual abuse victims are mentally ill. Okay, there are a lot of people that are mentally ill through no fault of their own, because of things they saw, not things they did. Then there's the people that are totally fucked up. People that attempt suicide 1,000 times. People that have voices in their head. People that are fucking outrageously criminally insane. Now, a psychiatrist has 2 doctorates. A PhD in psychology and a medical doctorate. The head psychiatrist of mental institutions, they work like crazy. They could work 10, 12 hours a day. They could work holidays. They could work weekends. They could be called in on Christmas Day. They have meetings. They're on call. Okay, they have to evaluate. They have a lot of shit to do. Now, I, for one, don't know what the system is for their reporting. I know that if you're convicted in court or plead guilty in court, that is inputted into the background system. But how often do psychiatrists sit down and say, listen, this guy was walking down the street naked, throwing his own shit on people. If he gets out of here one day, I don't want him to have a gun. How often do the psychiatrists think like that? Okay? There are sometimes it is believed, and I believe it's true, where someone with a mental problem, a severe mental problem, that does not need a gun, does not have that information inputted into the system, and they buy a gun legally. The background check doesn't pick up on it. Now, obviously, there has to be a definitive line drawn to make sure the veteran and the sexual abuse victim don't have their rights taken away, but at the same token, the guys that are just fucking going bonkers, okay, yeah. Now, I would propose federal law that says if a psychiatrist, assuming it's that law already, if a psychiatrist, and you have to make sure it's not an anti-gun psychiatrist banning everyone. If a psychiatrist deems a person to be mentally unfit to own a gun, suicide attempts, delusions, okay, fucking crazy people, that psychiatrist should prepare written statements under penalty of perjury for the FBI to incorporate into the NICS system. No, not the NICS, the background system. I'm sorry, NICS is different. I'm sorry, the background system. So that when they go to the gun shop to buy a legal gun, they're turned down. They can still get illegal guns, knives, fireworks, shit like that, but they can be turned down for an actual legal gun. Now, obviously, you have to be very careful about this because the anti-gun fanatics, especially the ones in Congress, will try to sneak their agenda in the 735th page. Okay? Remember the Hughes Amendment? Okay? You had a 1986 pro-gun law, a federal pro-gun package in 1986. And at the 11th hour, without anyone knowing it, a senator from New Jersey wrote a proposal saying every machine gun made after May 19th, 1986 should be banned from commercial sale. And he put that Hughes Amendment at the bottom of the pile at the 11th hour, and no one even knew it was in there. And next thing you know, all the machine guns are banned, for good or bad. So you got to make sure that an anti-gun person doesn't type up a proposal saying, okay, pistol grips banned, 5 rounds in the magazine, $10,000 license for the gun, okay, and sneak that into the 10,000th page. So that's why it's hard to get decent laws through, because the anti-gun fanatics don't want decent laws. They want their agenda passed. And they might be tempted to sneak their agenda in the back page. And you can have a law the NRA supports. You can have a law the Second Amendment Foundation supports that says all psychiatrists will tell the FBI about every patient that is crazy. And ban every patient that is off their fucking mind, out of their fucking mind, from owning a gun. And we can all agree that's reasonable. But some anti-gun person will type up a proposal to fit their agenda and they'll put it on the 10,000th page. And some other guys will put in their shit for tax rebates for this or free furniture for senators, or I mean, you know, they'll put their crazy shit into it. Okay? But yeah. And how is it that the concealed carry licensing officer saw his criminal record, but the FFL and the pawn shop did not? How does that work? I'm stumped. I mean, because this guy should not have had a gun. Would he have got one illegally? Probably. Would he have gone to the movie theater and ran people over in his car? Probably. But he should not have had a gun. I think we can all agree on that. And without being political, I want to have that answer. And obviously, if a psychiatrist does deem a patient to be mentally disqualified from gun ownership, the Sixth Amendment says that patient would be allowed to maintain legal counsel and appeal that decision in court. Now, like I said, if he's got 5 suicide attempts and he talks to Moses, that appeal will be thrown out. But if he's a veteran who was put in the nut house because he had a nightmare and was screaming really loud, he'll have his rights restored. Okay, but see, I can't get this. I cannot get how this fucking guy passed the background, even if the mental institution did not put his material into the FBI check. You got arson, domestic violence, restraining order. How the fuck does that not go through the check? And offhand, this is why I will never do a private sale. A lot of people tell me they live in a state where you can legally sell a used gun to a guy off paper if he has a state-issued valid driver's license. That might be legal. And there's probably a 999 out of 1,000 chance that that guy is a nice guy. But, see, this is my problem. This is why I would never do a private sale. Because I don't know who the fuck I'm giving the gun to. And I hate to sound like a gun control advocate. I mean, I'm not going to push for more gun bans. I'm not going to push for more gun-free zones. I'm not going to push for a 4-round magazine ban. But I'm just saying that how did this mentally ill guy get the fucking gun? That's what I want to know. Because this shit is getting fucking scary. Thank you.